F us now. Oh, let's expect Bayern PSG to give us a wonderful mouth-watering clash. Look at what they showed us today. Pure symbolic performance from defending champions Paris Saint-Germain. So the game just ended at the Allianz Arena. PSG won, Bayern Munich won. I say PSG won because Ousmane Dembele pulled first blood in the first game. Just on the 3rd-minute mark, PSG were 1-0 up, and Bayern Munich had to struggle before Harry Kane getting the equalizer in the dying embers of the game. If this was what we're expecting from PSG, okay, I bet Arsenal game in this. Razak, I'm going to say PSG. Now, so nothing give them. How far? How did you see the game?
Oh, I think you should give the credit to the Paris Saint-Germain team just because it's never easy qualifying to the Champions League finals. It's never easy. It's never easy. It took Arsenal 2 decades. The last time they went to the finals was in 2006 against Barcelona.
Bro, everyone was...
It took them 2 decades.
On Arsenal's neck on Tuesday that Arsenal were playing negative football. Arsenal were playing boom, bim, bam. Arsenal was playing just a ball. But what PSG played wasn't too far from what Arsenal did. Because PSG, after Ousmane Dembele scored that first goal, it was defense. In the second half, it was worse. PSG quelled in their cell. They know they come out. Hey, why?
One football, your negative
football.
Your defensive approach and your attacking approach. And then Paris Saint-Germain came into the game just to get an early goal in the first 10 minutes of the game.
If they believed in their capabilities, if they believe in them, but they come still. What's the first goal is 6-4 on aggregate. Bayern Munich call Parino. Bayern Munich call Parino.
It was the first leg.
You see,
you've taken two
let me put
goals.
This on record. This is why I am saying now, if Arsenal loses this Champions League grand finale to PSG now I know they fear them again.
Listen, no,
they'll come. We'll go through the statistics.
Say, oh papa, Timmy, papa. Now Oba akoye bibi for the first time. Now Oba no koye no. You didn't expect him to do that, or you didn't expect her to do that.
I want us to talk the game. Let's talk about
to do the same thing again?
Let's talk about the game.
Bayern Munich versus Paris Saint-Germain in the first leg. Paris Saint-Germain Bayern Munich. Like they were leading by 3 goals.
Fans, you were clamoring for beautiful football, listen. Expansive football.
Listen,
see the trash.
Paris Saint-Germain were leading by 5 goals to 2. Bayern Munich by game no, or team no.
What is the best way to defend?
4-2.
Answer my question. What is the best way to defend? The best way to defend is to attack.
Massa.
Even Pep Guardiola, everyone believes in that mentality.
It's not always about attacking.
That's why I asked you a question.
We saw Man City in 2021 against Chelsea. Chelsea ball full 90 minutes attack. A defense. Eko we trophy nima Chelsea. And then Chelsea, you see your trophies now. It's not always about attacking. Sometimes
you have beautiful football. Insulting Arsenal, saying Arsenal is trash, saying all sorts of things against Arsenal. But PSG there, let's allow them defend small.
You cannot play against...
I'm going to regret it. I'll go watch that.
You cannot play against Diego Simeone's side. They always come with a defensive mindset. And then you at Arsenal at Emirates, now defending. How?
Let's get into the ratings in the game. So, Conrad Laiman, 6.2 rating. The right back spot on Desiree Doué and Unyana Nasoya Den Victor Varaskelia. Na ohonom nom there soon time. La passe. Omunam hosa in the first 15 minutes. Conrad Laiman was very, very symbolic. Conrad Laiman, he didn't even win one tackle in the first 25 minutes. That showed that Vincent Kompany's even first 11 was very poor. A defender in your heydays, you go into a game using Stanisic as a left back. Conrad Laiman, on a week, you are using him at right back, where you had even Alphonso Davies, you had him on the bench. You were using an unnatural player in a natural position as a left back, no. Stanisic was on the left back, and you had Conrad Lima now on Wemre, no, on the right back position. Do you think, sir, Vincent Kompany shot himself on the foot with his first 11?
I think like it's hard time, but Bayern Munich, they should find a perfect A-list and I say an elite right back, just because Lima,
they have that in Joshua Kimmich. Joshua Kimmich, he started as a right back. Like his mentor, Philipp Lahm, we all know that both players started as... It was Joseph Pep Guardiola who turned, Philipp Lahm into a midfielder. Same Joshua Kimmich now is a midfielder. They all started as right backs. And we know that in the first leg, Bayern Munich, they were suffering at the back. So if you've seen loopholes at the back, you need a perfect fit. Somebody who can give Kvaratskhelia a run for his money. Why don't you deploy Joshua Kimmich in his, natural position?
Last season,
he had so many midfielders. Goretzka could play midfield.
Last season, we saw a certain Palfina who the Vincent Kompany had trust in him. On money ball number 6, no. Oko Tottenham, no. Like it feels like no.
If you say he had trust in him, why did he allow him go? He didn't have trust in him like that. Vincent Kompany, he should vary his tactics. He should be very careful. This is Bayern Munich. And the title or the motto is Masamia. We are who we are. That's the meaning of the Masamia, the Bavarian Giants. This is Bayern Munich.
But listen.
And you cannot start very poor.
We know Joshua Kimmich to be the midfielder who controls a game, who is a pressed, resistant
but
midfielder.
You had a very dying need on the right back position.
That is why I'm saying they should find a perfect replacement for Lima. Number 2.
So why was Alphonso Davies on the bench? Stanisic could have played the right back.
Alphonso Davies
on the bench?
Came from injury not long ago. It's managing the gameplay. The time of playing,
bro,
it's not. He cannot play 90
away
minutes.
from winning a UEFA Champions League. You have 2 games away. This semi-final and the grand finale, and you are telling me that he should manage what? If management and Nipa don't cut and say, but what Munchen did Monday stars. Tell him we they play and Munchen did what if you had we they throw you up the pitch.
Say Alphonso Davies that you are talking about. They've been giving him Bayern. Sometimes if you're a player that changes games and found time on even if they give you 15 minutes, you can do something. You make your presence felt in the game. But your man chance no, he has been getting 15 minutes, 20 minutes time play just because he just came back from injury. Obie him say that sir we left back position on one area just because say Oko injury. That's why Stanisic has been the choice for the left back position.
Point well made.
Waba into Wabano as a game management. The person injury based setting.
Okay.
After all, Canada only needed for the World
Cup.
Well
made. Let's talk about Harry Kane, the Hurricaner. Harry Kane, very, very symbolic performance too today. In the first, 25 minutes, Harry Kane, it was as if he wasn't in the game. He had a 25% pass accuracy. And that's uncharacteristic of Harry Kane. Harry Kane, we know, it's like he's a perfect number 10. He's a perfect number 9 as well. He always, links up play, his telepathic understanding in the game. He reads the game well. So today it was very surprising that Harry Kane, if not his equalizer and the dying embers of the game, there were people even asking if Harry Kane was part of the first 11.
I think that, what's the name?
Harry Kane or...
No, not Harry Kane. Vincent Kompany should try as much as possible to find a perfect...
But there was Nicolas Jackson.
Number 10. Just because, Ono feel it to say, Musiala is not the player he wants to play. He wants a certain... number 10 who is more creative than Musiala.
Are we doubting the credentials of Jamal Musiala?
If we start or if you are watching Bayern Munich playing, always we see Harry Kane dropping and playing as a number 10. Meanwhile, you have a creative midfielder in the shape of Jamal Musiala.
For me, since time immemorial, that's how Harry Kane plays.
So, okay, if now Harry Kane
so
drops
Harry
to
Kane,
the number 10,
no matter
where
the perfect...
does Musiala plays?
So, you need to be an auxiliary number 10. You have to find your fit. Listen, that's why you should be so intelligent enough to read the game. If Harry Kane drops, You should be able to what? Find spaces, pockets of spaces to also cause havoc to the opponent. You don't expect, say, Harry Kane will switch up, then you also be playing double number 10.
Musiala is a big player for the Bayern Munich team.
And even for the German national team.
No catching and say, we are number 10. Ebema Harry Kane a drop it into finding spaces. What are you telling the guy? He is not a poor player, mind you.
Harry Kane is never a poor player.
Musiala is never a poor player. In this woman obi a funny position aboa. Obeso go bohin. Any question
no, you see, I would dispute that fact because I'm saying that wherever Harry Kane has played football, he doesn't stay in the box. You can talk about the English national team. You can talk about Tottenham Hotspur. And now Bayern Munich. Harry Kane has not been your, fox in the box kind of striker. He's always that center forward or arrowhead who drops back, who wants to link up play. He always finds his way. He thrives, playing or linking up with the midfield. So I don't expect you to say, Harry Kane, or he should be in the box, or if he cannot be in the box, they should.
I have watched Harry Kane at Tottenham Hotspur. I see Harry Kane as the arrowhead.
He always drops into midfield.
I see Son. I see Dele Alli playing as the number 10. Who catch them and say Harry Kane, he drops deep. He drops deep. Like
he always drops deep. That's the play of Harry Kane.
He's dropping more deep.
Who was the arrowhead or who was the, most influential player for Tottenham in Harry Kane's days? It was still Harry Kane. He was still dropping deep.
Times we saw a certain Dele Alli playing as a number 10.
Yes, that was the intelligence of Dele Alli. That was what made the Tottenham Hotspur team thrive because Dele Alli, could read the game that, Harry Kane have dropped. So let me be that, false number 9. That was what Dele Alli was doing, and that was what was working for the Lily Whites.
But during the time of Harry Kane at Tottenham Hotspur, most of the times we see him like closer to the box than what we are seeing now at Bayern Munich. Because it feels like, I say, Akwane ball, number 8, number 10, style B. We don't feel his presence in the box.
So even talking about the number 10 role and everything, for a player of Jamal Musiala's caliber, and even talking up the Bayern Munich team as a whole, they had their first shot on target on the 44th minute mark. So almost 45 minutes. That was when Bayern Munich had their first shot on target, and it was Jamal Musiala. A team where they have Michael Olise, Harry Kane, they have Pavlovic, they have Joshua Kimmich, and they have Luis Diaz. Bayern Munich's first shot on target came in the 45th minute, and they were even poor in the first 15 minutes to 30 minutes of the game. I don't know what kind of tactics, Vincent Kompany deployed. Why were they so poor in the beginning of the game?
Well, if you're talking about shot on target, shot on goal, I think, this Bayern Munich team, they love to play more than to shoot. If you have a poor defense, they will come at you.
Poor defense in the America. They will come at you. See, Jonathan Tah, born not shown to me, retire. Listen, Dayo Opamecano, Jonathan Tah, they are disgrace, big disgrace too.
Then I can. What do you mean? Say?
Jonathan Tah, there. Hey, Calvin Osensibe, no disrespect to local league players. But then again, Razak Simpson, Mobona, Jonathan Tah, Bonnet,
Razak
Simpson, why we don't see him for Black Stars?
How can I sign?
And now we're about German national team in Casano. Just a way about Diamond.
Now,
Germany player.
Now, Razak Simpson, now, Esibena Obomudi.
Jonathan Tah, if Jonathan Tah,
and normal ball, almost a Paris Saint-Germain ultras.
When have you seen? Listen, one of the first rules of coaching, they say there are 2 positions you don't change till the very obvious or till emergency. Say be about 2 positions. Number 1, the center of the pitch. And now, back line. And then, he brought out Jonathan Tah because Jonathan Tah was still very, very, symbolic in the game. In the second for uniform because still, even in the first half, he has started game. I say, hot knife pass through butter. First counter-attack, then PSG 1-0 up. Jonathan Tah Kelvin Osei-Sibe, Razak Simpson. Oba Ghana Premier League, there are better defenders than that Jonathan Tah boy.
You see, in football, we have something called like synergy. It is a synergy.
And for Dayo Upamecano, maybe the least said about him, the better. See, he's not that of a very bad defender, but you see, you should be able to control your defensive partner.
Put some respect on his name, a World Cup winner.
Now, everyone can win the World Cup. Everyone can be a World Cup winner. Hey, now they by force. Zlatan Ibrahimovic, there are legends, but they never won the World Cup. They never won the Champions League.
Legends. Yeah, go to legend.
Now they go to a legend. Ronaldo is still a legend. Let's talk about Bayern Munich's, very, very poor defensive makeshift end. One other statistic is that out of the 44 contested duels, Bayern Munich won only 12. And that is where I have a problem. 44, duels. So what under 12 da? Under 10, under 12. Coast football. Viewers, they should comment in the CS section. Bono, a kosro, your friend be giant chop. So wait to me, I'm Piety. I know your friend Piety. If you can't win aerial duels, you can't win, one-on-one duels, then now you say you lose. Me, I had one player, I'll mention his name. Sergio Sultan, Shemia. If there's an aerial duel and you lose, let's just say he will come at you. And let me use this opportunity to even bring up Daniel Kofich's interview he just granted. He said when he was playing with Mubarak Wakasu, hey, what because you say there's an aerial duel or one-on-one duel, bina, I say, Obekwasa unkona, you win you. Mubarak Wakasu, you need to come with that person, with that panache. That is why I'm very surprised, say, out of the 44 duels, Bayern Munich won only 12. Meaning PSG wanted them all. And no surprise that they are into the grand finale of the Champions League.
Obiti say Dalot Upamecano. Then Jonathan Tah.
Oh no.
They say synergy ni ho. Omuni sa chemistry no meeting their ball as two center halves. Ebi ni ho. Yeah, funny say Obiti say Upamecano on the ultimate on any given ultimate more like just silly mistakes. In rate me say obobo.
Mistake-prone defender. One mistake-prone defender. Dayo Upamecano. Though he's not a poor defender, okay, or on a level, but then again, he's susceptible to mistakes. Just say mistake be a undone general so by na work on the ball na koche. Then people are talking about Maguire, but you see Maguire, it's rare. You don't see him commit blunders like that. But for Dayo Upamecano there, every season, blunder, howler.
Season
we'll come to Manoa. We'll come to Manoa, but let's finish.
A shame more just because last season it was a whole different two center halves, which was
Kim Min-jae
and Delete. And then these two players.
So why is Kim Min-jae on the bench? Not Jonathan Tah and Ebo.
Jonathan Tah, they had trust in the guy just because we saw the wonders he did with Bayer Leverkusen. Boy. Only we top sober. Ye pay more center house.
Bayer Leverkusen only one tamudi. Omono sa German Bundesliga no movie no. Once flash in a panel. So you cannot tell me that someone who is good for Bayer Leverkusen will be better or will be of equal measure. This is Maya Samea. We are who we are. Bavarian Giants, 6-time winning UEFA Champions League team. Now, Ode Jonathan Tah, he had only one brilliant season in Bayer Leverkusen. He's never good for the Bayern Munich team. Never. And I'm surprised that the coach in question now, or your former defensive, stalwart, the same company, will be playing Upamecano and Jonathan Tah as his two defensive partners. I'm very, very surprised.
Don't forget.
The former Belgian international.
Don't forget. We saw a certain Raul Asensio in hindsight play at center house for.
It's here for Raul Asensio. There, make nobody see the guy make a vex. Raul Asensio. See, I will mention 10 Ghana Premier League defenders who are better. This gives me the reason to say, there are certain players playing big teams in the European leagues. They are very poor. Some came out from the academy system. Oh, where there? Oh, man, academy graduate. Oh, make it play.
I said, Basa Chro Ubia. Basa Chrom. It's the old cast I say, or Pemicano, and Jonathan Ta.
Jonathan Ta. Boy, now, Bonnie Dino, Rawa Sensu. Hey.
And I'm there are other big clubs are almost all the same mistakes. We saw Chelsea playing Badiashile and Disasi at centre house.
We saw Adarabia.
On any given day. Or height. The coach be a person when you're on the team.
When you say Jonathan Tana make us any day, Isan. You know, say it will be ball playing centre back. It will know the ball play, but. Problem is saying a quite down home.
Men can
see they have no pace. Only born the 2 1. Am I trophy? They don't feel run.
That is I can just because
and they don't feel run.
Since where I quite say Gabriel Niwe Saliba. Nya fine for me too.
The past 3 seasons, Gabriel Magalhaes, William Saliba, best partnership in Europe. No they. Take your flowers away from them.
Defenders na F4. I go bit say Saliba, any Gabriel.
Nah.
Yeah, it means some best defenders currently.
Chaloba, Anna, this body are selling mono. Are they better than William Saliba?
I say defenders na F4. Then times now Ukito bit say Puyon. Ukito bit say Pepe.
Are we in the end times? We are in 21st century football. Yeah, ball pressing. Did you see the assist William Saliba or the pass, that defensive splitting pass? Audemars Victor Gyökeres. I'm talking about the Arsenal Athletic game. The only goal that came in the game, Bukayo Saka. It was a defensive splitting pass from William Saliba. And that was top notch.
Footballer. There is no way Saliba.
That's why you're not a coach. That's why you're not a coach. And that is why Arsenal is winning the double this season. If Arsenal fails to win, hey.
One of the
heartbreaks.
One of the biggest heartbreak me experiencing Arsenal winning a double. Papa.
With Chiki is Fala.
Arsenal.
Fala, wait.
Now weekend we put me the man will
landing stadium. So wait to football.
Weekend we or landing stadium. Me the man will. Means me share congregation.
Let me use this opportunity to sound or to announce one team, who wouldn't beat the drop this season. West Ham United. Tottenham are out of the relegation zone. West Ham will surely drop down. Olise's influence in the game. For me, Olise in the first 15 minutes was the most impressive player. Even in the whole 90 minutes, he had the most take-ons. So we had Nuno Mendes who had, one very bad yellow card, and he was supposed to even receive that early shower. But very, very poor officiating from João Pedro Silva, the Portuguese, referee. I've never seen a very poor, referee than this Portuguese official. Because how do you tell me that? A friend is saying, I'm sure that it's because Mendes is a Portuguese. That's why you can't tell me that Mendes was deserving that Obebo full 90 minutes. He was supposed to be shown a red card. But just because Mendes was Portuguese, the referee is Portuguese, he allowed it.
We've witnessed bigger games, referees to me, mistakes, HNC. Games so change.
And the most painful, referees will commit howlers or blunders in a game. Then the worst that will happen is they will receive 3 or 5 games ban. Then they come back and continue. There's some. You see, for want of a better word, I don't want to sound offensive. But then when you come, I don't talk say you go take bribe. But you see, you can't tell me that João Pedro Silva, the referee on the day, was impressive. It was as if he was brought in to sabotage Bayern Munich's quest to get to the grand finale of the Champions League.
You were talking about Olise, and with Olise, or a player be a ball on him ball. He knows how to play the ball very well. But only how they say, he always wants to score beautiful goals.
Oh, no.
Do the take-ons. All right. Or baby, BI won't say, win the onye. But say, do on man, or per se ball, no. at least on turn on Kelly ball. No,
Many
to
are
the angle.
tipping him as the next big thing to, take the world of football by storm. Do you share same sentiments that a certain Michael Olise can get into a Ronaldo mode? He's in his early 20s. Can Olise get to that feat?
Oh, well, if you tell me that Olise will be one of the greatest players, I will say yes. But if you are telling me that Obetimi Abe the greatest, and the American will say, I don't believe it. Just because there are other young...
Yamal too better of a player compared...
Sure.
Oh, I said Hane Kaswana.
Oh, Emua.
Oh, Olise. Just because he's been booted out of the Champions League.
I said Lamine Yamal's with him.
But you can't tell me, sir, Lamine Yamal is too good compared to...
Olise, me so born Onimbo. But if you watch Lamine Yamal, now go back.
So by a mile.
Odi show Olise first. Now go show Lamine Yamal. You understand? So go back. Go show Olise. And say, who difference they will. Olise is a very fine, good player. Who share other side of the wings now. You see Luis Diaz there. Lucho and also Bonnie Homoding. They play the ball very, very well. On any given day, we can't say on any given day, the difference is poor. This will punish you.
You mentioned Lucho. This is Luis Diaz we are talking about. You look at PSG's backline, and there was a certain Achraf Hakimi missing due to injury. So he had to play a makeshift right back in the place of Zaire Emery. He wasn't playing in his natural position, but still Bayern Munich found it difficult to create clear-cut chances. Would you lay it down to Bayern Munich's, poor or their lackadaisical way of pressing? We didn't see much from Harry Kane and Luis Diaz, despite Hakimi not in the game.
4-3-3. Paris Saint-Germain, we are going with a defensive mindset. Into 4-3-3 a player like Zaire Emery, even if he's not good enough to play as the right back, he has other players to back him up.
We saw him play in the midfield in the first leg. He played in the heart of...
If he's not good enough to play as a right back, they are playing a defensive game.
Okay.
A player like Dembele can track back and defend, help him. A player like João Neves can also come back and defend to help him. Inti Ebani say and no who the best of Lucha just because Paris Saint-Germain came into the game with a defensive mindset. Inti I say Omwechina loaded. So if you take this player on,
that defensive cover comes.
Yes.
And that should give more credit to Willy Pacho and Marquinhos, who, for me, I think they had a decent game. Because to keep Harry Kane quiet for 90 minutes, Charlie, be small job. Solid, be easy game.
Solid. Go and watch the highlights of last season's Champions League. They are William Pacho, anyway, Marquinhos, and the other players. Paris Saint-Germain, with Liverpool, with Barcelona,
but we saw this same defense concede 4 in the first leg. So then necessary.
And I make a choice say on any given day, these players, if you cite them, that's why everything was
then credit to Luis Enrique and his team, technical background.
Because these players, I have been saying this. One way Club World Cup na Chelsea call ball against your friend is saying Paris Saint-Germain. It was Marquinhos and Berardo. Now Pacho was out due to injury. Assuming Pacho was there, I'm not sure we mistake somewhere here and they could have done.
Oh no, but we see Willy Pacho sometimes also commit blunder. Even in the first leg, the 4 goals conceded, he made mistakes. He was to be blamed for 4 goals. So the second goal, he was, a culprit. So he also makes mistakes.
In we do Champions League, this level, it is called a 2-legged affair. Ubo first leg, now who mistakes are. Ube rectify. Internona we Enrique ye. Inti say ubo Enrique Abasono or deserve our credit no. But ye Juma no. Inti make ushia tactically Enrique Boo Vincent Company. Or person Chelsea say.
Bobo pone niso. Vincent Company set up.
Person on can say we Makwara. But already Vincent Company a big game coach.
9 games unbeaten. So Hurricanes equalizer in the dying embers. kept that 9-game unbeaten, run. And you believe, say, that is more, enough, or that's enough to keep Vincent Kompany in the job. Because a team like Bayern Munich, I'm a somebody, there was a certain, Jupankesa or German Bundesliga. I thought you'll be shown the exit door. We need the Champions League, in Munich. This is the biggest team in Germany.
Mind you.
And even in Europe.
Next season, if Bayern Munich fails to win the Champions League,
they'll look elsewhere. Because
Vincent Kompany
has shown that he's not up there. He's not
because the Bundesliga is never a challenge to them. Winning the Bundesliga, and Bayern Munich, their focus is the Champions League. That's why they are 6 times champions of the Champions League.
Which area do you think Bayern Munich should strengthen so they can mount a better challenge next season?
Or the
very
defense.
Key areas.
The defense. And they should try as much as possible to get number 8, who is a ball controller, who is a ball carrier.
I'll mention their midfielders. So there is Pavlovic, and a very, very impressive, young lad. There is Joshua Kimmich, though he's more of a defensive, midfielder. Then there is Leon Goretzka as well, the good old Leon Goretzka. There are other midfielders who are making it. That's why I am surprised that the likes of Frank Gravenberch, he was allowed to leave. Even you talk about João Paulinho, who is now with Tottenham. These are midfielders on any given day. See what Gravenberch did in Liverpool's title-winning, season. Carrying Liverpool all the way, and I'm very shocked that these midfielders were allowed to leave.
Well, I am also shocked. I'm surprised just because Gravenberch, this guy is a ball controller, a ball carrier, and
not to even mention Quarantine Tolisso, who was also left to join Olympic Marseille, though he's a bit more like, AG, and that was about 2-3 years ago. But these are midfielders. Tolisso is still a very strong midfielder. And for me, I don't know why Bayern Munich, Leon Goretzka is on the bench and Bayern Munich are struggling.
If you want to do what Diego Simeone is doing, they be a bit affected.
What is Diego Simeone doing?
Just because what parquet box-to-box midfielders, there's a 10 team. Eddie Winnie BB. So if Bayern Munich on also per se on parquet box-to-box with midfielders on the team in the likes of Goretzka, Pavlovic, a player like
Joshua Kimmich is a defense. He's a DM.
But make I say,
Guerrero is also, or he also deputizes as a DM and can also play. He's a versatile player. I've seen Guerrero play left back. I've seen him play in the heart of midfield. I've seen him play on the wings. I've seen him play left wing back. So this is a very versatile player.
You can play there. But as a team, if you have such midfielders, a very difficult amount, say you can make their magic when the time comes. You need a player like Pedri. You need a player like Vitinha. You need a player like...
And also the Enfa. Enfa, let's end here. Like, do you think Ousmane Dembele going all the way to the Champions League final, France also going all the way World Cup final, is Ousmane Dembele, aside devoid of emotions, devoid of sentiments, devoid of sympathy votes, if he goes all the way to the World Cup grand finale after even getting into the grand finale of the UEFA Champions League, do you think Ousmane Dembele is deserving of another Ballon d'Or?
If let me say it on record, if today France goes to the World Cup final, Olise wins the Ballon d'Or.
Hey!
Men can say Dembele da. If today France goes to the World Cup finals, Olise wins the Ballon d'Or. The Ballon d'Or will be decided by the World Cup.
You see, let's not also... I know that...
Forget the Champions League, no.
This name I'm about to mention, when I mention people... But listen, this is a high-scoring Kylian Mbappe who has 15 goals in the UEFA Champions League. Highest scoring, player in the UCL. In the Spanish La Liga, highest scoring player in the Spanish top flight. If France goes all the way to the World Cup, they win. Kylian Mbappe scores 6s and 7s, you tell me that Michael Olise will be a judge Ballon d'Or winner?
Collectively, Mbappe, one family than Bibia, so out.
But the France are GBB. And this is the World Cup.
One funny club and GBB. It is say, Monfania Mana, the what's the name? We criteria name bra board. Yeah, the name of the bar for Nyama guitar. I'll be saying for Mobile London bra. Club said on fashion about
talking about criteria and everything. The year Fabio Cannavaro won the Ballon d'Or, it wasn't because of his club performance. He won the Ballon d'Or on account of Italy winning the World Cup. And that was why he was adjudged. And even till date, he's the only defender to have won the Ballon d'Or. Are you telling me that Mbappe, if he outshines everyone in the World Cup, because he had a very disappointing, league season with Madrid, he's not qualified for the Ballon d'Or?
Rodrigo Cascante won something with Spain. He won something with Man City. He was adjudged the Ballon d'Or winner.
That's a flash in the pan. It happens. Schneider, there are players who did great stuff in club football and even took their national team all the way to, the World Cup final and everything, and they were still snubbed. So finally, who wins the Champions League is Paris Saint-Germain defending their title, and is Luis Enrique going into the archives as the best coach because he will become one of the, most decorated managers in Europe.
On paper, Paris Saint-Germain looks favorite for this title. Omona BBI favor. Even currently, if you look at the quality of the Arsenal team compared to the quality of the Paris Saint-Germain team, it is only Declan Rice who can get the nod to start in the Paris Saint-Germain team. Omo makani na obieni as a team nima. Obetimi akọ start.
They are saying that
a combined